Hello and welcome to Art 17 Basic Drawing. And this will be a little introduction to how we're going to proceed in the course and talk about some supplies, which will be an ongoing um, effort as we go through the assignments. I'll discuss them in more detail with what we possibly will use, but mostly it's going to be graphite pencils or charcoal or both. So you're mostly drawing rather than painting, although I do have a couple of assignments later that are going to deal with ink and some color. So we'll work out that and what kind of color we're going to use. Paint or pastels, maybe colored pencils, I'm not sure. So, and if you have other ideas, great. So you can paint in fruit, fruit colors, from fruit. That's all open, so yeah, we could possibly do that later too. This is what the schedule looks like. So basically, there's 2 assignments a week and a homework. So this is consistent with other classes where there is homework, possibly 2 sessions a week, and a lesson or an assignment for each meeting each week. So this is in a face-to-face situation. This would be 2 classes a week, so there's 2 assignments and a homework. But for bigger assignments where I require a little more effort and detail and content, like the landscape, I'm only using 1 assignment number for that. So instead of having 3 that week, you have 1. And then also when we have the midterm presentation, which I will talk about in more detail later, basically it's a PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation on an artist, an art style, art movement, something in art. We'll talk about it more as it gets closer. And basically it's in the middle of the term or the semester. And I will talk about it later. It's only 5 minutes long. It's not too extensive, but you do have to provide a lot of text, or if we could make a video on it as well. So there's various ways to do it and present it to me online in an email attachment. So that's basically how it's going to go. We have week 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to week 16, where there's a final project due, which is basically matting and framing your best work and presenting that to me, like we were going to have an exhibition and have an exhibit where you would have your artwork hung professionally. And so we'll talk about that and what you're going to use as your final. The last week has no other assignments to complete. It's a makeup week basically for all the other assignments you may be backlogged on. And each week, I will post a video on Canvas about each particular assignment. So mostly it ends up being the first assignment is in the beginning of the week. In the middle of the week, I'll present a video on the second assignment and the homework. And this will continue on weekly. Okay, so each beginning of the week, you go in when time allows you. I'm not going to have Zoom meetings because typically I can't pick a time when everybody's going to be there. So this is ending up being more productive than Zoom meetings. If you want a Zoom meeting with me, then request one and we'll set one up and we can have a one-on-one where we can talk to each other about various things that you want to address. But this doesn't work out with this many people in a class, when only 10 people show up for a Zoom because they have other classes and other things going on. and I can't pick a perfect time for everybody to be there. So it kind of not the best scenario for me, I found. So, but you can have a personal Zoom with me. And all during the course, you can email me, and I will speak with you individually, and we will discuss whatever you have on your mind in emails as well. Okay, that is how I will critique and give feedback to every assignment you send me as well. So I will be in constant communication with you as much as you wish all week on any assignment. Okay, so let's say we start off with week 1. You see this video I'm talking to you now. I'm going to talk about assignment number 1, and then in the middle of the week I'll do another video about assignment number 2 and the homework. Okay, and then you work on those, and by the end of the week or the beginning of next week, sometime during the following week, so if I post videos in week 1, you work on them, you send me your first attempt or your completed assignment in week 2. And then when we're in week 2, you send that to me in week 3 in email attachments. Okay? This is a good way to keep up, because if you wait too long to send me your work, then you have now week 2 to do, and week 3 to do, and week 4 to do, and pretty soon you haven't sent some of these to me, and now you're getting behind, and it's going to be miserable to catch up. It's actually very difficult. When each class period for each assignment here that you're supposed to be working on, you're supposed to be putting in a good couple of hours on each drawing. Because, the class period, if you were to be working in a classroom setting, face-to-face, you'd be there for 3 hours. So at least 2 hours would be spent on the drawing, with cleanup and preparation and breaks. Yeah. So it ends up being a couple hours each drawing. So I want to see that effort when you send it to me. And I want to see that you've tried all the things I'm talking about in the videos. And I will also provide other videos from other artists that are doing the work, demonstrating it, talking about it, showing it to you in other videos. So there's going to be maybe 3 or 4, 5, 6 videos per assignment. So that does take some time to watch the videos. They're not that long. I try to pick ones that aren't like an hour long. They are, with, I don't know, maybe the longest would be 20 minutes or something, hopefully. So they're not that long, and they're very concise, and they really get to the point, and they show you good examples, and they show you how to do some of this work. And I also have other examples, photos of examples I will provide to you as explanation to how you can improve what you're doing. So let's say you send me your work for week 1, one of these or both of them, during week 2, and I look at it and I say, hey, maybe you should try this and try that and work on it a little more. And I'll give you examples of what I'm talking about. And then you try to improve it. This is the way you get a better grade on that assignment. Any assignment, the whole semester, you can keep working on. But I'd like to see your first attempt by the following week. It was presented. It was posted on Canvas. So you send me the work from week 1 into week 2. I look at it. Maybe I ask you to do more to it. And then you work on it. Maybe you work on it 5 times to get an A. Or maybe it's going to take you 2 times or 1 time. Or maybe the first time you're very good at drawing and you get the idea and you do a good one during that first attempt, which is possible, and it does happen. But everybody has their own skill level. This is a beginning class, so you don't have to be perfect at drawing, but you do have to try to do what we're explaining in the videos and what we're showing you in examples. You have to try to do those things. And I will see if you're trying or you're missing the whole point. It doesn't matter quite what the outcome, if it's better than somebody else's drawing or as good as a real professional artist. It matters that you tried all the elements and all the principles, and you tried the techniques, and you did it to your best ability. And I will determine that as we go. And you may have a couple of tries at each assignment to get a better grade. Okay? Okay. That's how that's going to go. And, of course, each following week, when you complete the prior week's assignments, you send those to me in an email attachment. The best way is just regular email attachments. Don't use something, some of them don't work. But if I'm not receiving your attachment and it didn't open up, I will tell you and try another way. So I think JPEGs work really well. And just regular saving your photos to your computer and sending them right off your computer to me in a normal attachment of a document, then that should work. Okay, and we'll discuss that. If you have trouble, let me know. And always communicate and always look for emails from me, because I may send an email and have postings on Canvas under assignments. So when you go to Canvas, you're going to look under this course, open it up, and you'll see assignments. And you open that up, and there'll be each assignment each week all ready for you to open up and watch the videos. And there may be several videos to each assignment, like I said. The syllabus is on there, I think, on the left bar, sidebar, under syllabus, and other handouts I will provide. Basically, under the syllabus, I like to just, you open that and you see them all there rather than searching around for them. So I will provide this schedule for you, and it's a good way to you probably print it out and put it up somewhere so you can mark off what assignments you have completed, or if I asked you to do more to an assignment, make a little note next to it and what that was, so you can keep up with what's going on, because I'm going to send a heads up to your grade and what assignments you've completed and what I've asked you to do more to, and things like that for better grade. About midterm I'll send them, and toward the end I may send several if somebody's behind. If you're doing really great, you're going to hear from me probably less than somebody who's falling behind. Okay? You don't want to fall behind. I'll say that 100 times because it's going to get miserable about the time week 8, 9, 10, you're starting to head toward the end here, and you have all these assignments you haven't completed, or like I say, if you don't work on the assignments very much, you're probably getting like a C on them, and that means you have to do every assignment to get a C in the class, because they're all graded equally, including the midterm and the final. So think about it. If you're getting C's on everything and you don't want to work on it more when I give a suggestion, then you have to do every assignment and get a C on it to get a C in the class. So if you do more to an assignment, you're getting a B or an A, then you're actually able to get a B and A in the class, or do less assignments. Like I think if you're doing A work, getting A's on everything because you worked hard on them and you did them several times and sent them back, and I finally said, okay, that's good, thank you, that means you passed it with an A. You can actually miss 3 or so assignments out of this whole course and get an A, because an A is 90 to 100 points, right? So they don't allow A plus or A minus, so when I'm grading. So yeah, you have a window in there of flexibility, but you do have to work hard. So let's talk about, I'm going to talk more about this later. The first assignment here is, you can see, pre-instruction drawings. So there's 3 pre-instruction drawings. One of them is a head study. We call it a head study. Well, it's a human head, although some students sent me a cat head. I think let's stay with human. So a human head study. That means your best pre-instruction drawing of a human head. Okay? Now, just look at it and draw it as you will with what skills you know and what perception you have, and as you judge proportion with what your knowledge you have at the moment of drawing or actually observing. And just draw it the best way you can, not knowing any other instruction, because this is a way for me to see your skill level now, and then we'll kind of match it up to what you've learned at the end of the course. So 3 drawings. One is a head study, one is a drawing of your hand in any position, your own hand in any position, and a drawing of a chair. It can be any chair, but typically wooden chairs are a lot more interesting than other chairs because they have spaces in between and kind of slats with a wood for the back and the sides and the legs. It tends to be more interesting and more content than something else, but that's up to you. Whatever chair you decide, but I'm just saying, if you have a wooden one, that's probably a really good one to do. So a head study, a hand, and a chair. It's 3 separate drawings that can be on the same page. Because this is pre-instruction, we're probably not going to use them as an exhibit. It's the first assignment, so you can put them on the same page to save paper, or separately, that's fine. That's the first assignment, okay? And that's all it is. And you can use charcoal or graphite with this, as you see over here in materials. You might want to try charcoal if you haven't done it before. Let's talk about some supplies, because really all you need is a few, not a lot, of graphite pencils that render dark tones. So I'm pretty sure they call them soft graphite, or an 08, or the higher numbers. I think HB. I think I wrote that in an email. What they are, I don't have it in front of me right now, but you want to try them if they allow you to try some pencils that are out and open at the art store or several other places like Walmart or whatever. If you can try it, or it says soft graphite, or it has the higher numbers, those are they're going to render a darker tone. So you're going to get contrast out of your pencil. Now, when you press softly on the pencil, you get a light tone, lighter. It's not as concentrated or saturated as if you press harder. So you can press very light and then gradually press harder and harder and harder for darker tones. So you really don't need those lighter pencils. A lot of artists like them. I prefer to use the same darn pencil that I just press less or press more with. And a lot of the time, the graphite matches up better. You have a better unity within the graphite you're using because you've used one pencil to do it. Charcoal pencils or charcoal vine is a really good way to do things too. You're going to need a kneaded eraser. It's one that actually pulls apart like Play-Doh kind of, and then you roll it up again. It gets rid of all the charcoal in it, and then you can use it again. But you can dab with it, you can erase with it, you can smudge with charcoal. You can get a smudger or use your finger or use a rag over your finger to smudge. And this gives different tones and different effects when you're shading. So the charcoal pencil is a good one to try, or graphite, okay? And that's all you need for the first several assignments here. Let me write down into where we're going to use maybe pastel or colored pencils or markers or paint, and ink here. So that's like week 9. You don't have to worry about any other supplies right now. Of course, with graphite, you're going to need a kneaded eraser. I mean, sorry, not kneaded eraser. I got charcoal in the brain. Graphite, you're going to need the white vinyl erasers. Usually are the best for that. And I talked about paper. 11 by 14 is a good size to be in, so you're not drawing really small. And you want that to be a Bristol paper, they call it Bristol paper, any make, is thicker. So you can erase a lot more on it than drawing or sketching paper. Sometimes if you're erasing a lot and you're making mistakes, you want to go back and you're erasing a lot, you're going to start tearing the paper. This is kind of hefty paper and it's thick. And also you can paint and use ink on it too. And so it's kind of a good overall beginner's sort of drawing paper that you can really be rough with. Okay, and you can actually paint on it and it won't wrinkle up on you because it's kind of thicker. Okay, so I recommend the Bristol paper, but if you can't find it or some other reason, drawing paper will work, but you may run into problems with it if you're erasing a lot. Okay, so I'll leave that up to you, but I suggest Bristol paper. So pencils, charcoal, erasers, pencils at first is really all you need. We're not going to be using a lot of ruler till we get down into 2-point perspective down in here. And then that will require a ruler. Okay, so that's basically it for the beginning. First assignment, pre-instruction drawings. There's 3. The head study, the hand, your hand, and it can be your head too. You can take a picture of your head or somebody else's head or a head you're looking at anyway. The hand should be your own in any position. And then a chair set up in front of you. Of course, you got to be conscious of your light source. And that's all I'll say right now because I want to see what you know about art in this first assignment, okay? What do you know about drawing? What do you know about perception? To be aware of what you're actually looking at and how you're going to put it on the paper, because you're looking at a 3D image and you're putting on a 2-dimensional paper. So there's something to that you have to create the 3D image on the paper, which isn't 3D. So figure that out. Think about that as you're looking and you're observing what you're going to draw, and then know that you're putting it on paper where you want that to look like a 3D image on the paper. So there's a lot to observe about what you're drawing and what you're looking at and drawing on the paper. All right, so that's all I'll say because it's really supposed to be pre-instruction, although that was a little bit of instruction. So there you go. Anyway, so okay, so look on Wednesday for the next video, and I'll talk about assignment number 2 and 3. All right. Thank you.